to Book 101. It's all about the books that I read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest, one of his advocacy homestead content creator with 1.8 million followers, no other than Mr. Matthew Cougar.
Hey, nice to see you. Nice to be on.
Welcome, Mr. Matthew, and Book 101 Review. And can you please introduce more about yourself that I miss?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I grew up in Chicago. I was a city kid and was in bars and nightclub industry before COVID. And then COVID hit, and I decided I wanted to do something different. So we sold everything and we bought a farm in South Carolina, and we've been homesteading ever since. And I started promoting it on social media, and that took off. And so it's just been a real ride.
Yes, indeed. And thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world through homesteading, Mr.
You're welcome. Pleased to
Matthew.
be on.
Yes,
Share
thank
something.
you. Yes, thank you. So today, let's talk about your passion, homesteading. So
Yeah.
tell us, the modern homesteading movement often feels like a conscious rejection of hyper consumerist, disconnected life. Beyond self sufficiency, what is the deeper philosophy or set of values that truly defines homesteading for you?
Wow, you are going deep on that question. You just hit hard, like right out of the gate. That's cool. Yeah, I mean, it's anti-consumer. I mean, because we use so much stuff. It's about. I mean, if you look specifically at the food system we've created with ultra-processed food, we add so much to our food in order to eat it. It's kind of crazy, and we do that with all aspects of consumerism. And it's about getting away from that, being more self-sufficient, needing less, using less. It very closely follows the principles of permaculture.
Many people romanticize the simple life. What is the most common misconception about reality of a daily homesteading, and what does that romantic view miss?
The money. Everybody thinks that they think there's this amazing homestead thing where they're just going to stay home and homestead all the time. And the truth is, very few homesteads by themselves are financially independent. They just can't achieve that level. So what you're going to get instead is you're going to get a lot of people that are having to work a full time job on the outside of the homestead, and then they feel like the homestead is just too much work when they want to relax. And so that's a definitely takes the rose colored glasses off of homesteading. Um, and I tell people, I say, if you want to be financially successful in homesteading, what you need to do is you need to start kind of creating multiple revenue streams,
Hmm.
different side hustles, as it were, so they make enough income to do me for one. Social media um, pays a lot of my bills, but everybody can't do that and be successful the way I have. So, I mean, you have to find different ways. You have to be creative. You have to have an entrepreneurial spirit.
Entrepreneurial spirit indeed. And Mr. Matthew, how do you balance the core of homesteading ideals for independence and self reliance with the very real need for community, shared knowledge, and mutual aid?
Well, I mean, so I don't. People think homesteading means you're going to be some kind of like miser off in the woods, like living by yourself as a hermit. It's not. It's all
Yes.
about community. We have communities, communities of other homesteaders, communities of people that we like, local farmers and co-ops that we share and work with. So it really is all about community. In fact, I did a post called the pillars, six pillars of homesteading, and the sixth pillar is community. It's all about showing up for people when they need you. Um, you know, showing up instead of showing off, being the kind of person who brings the toolbox, um, being the kind of guy who shows up with a solution instead of a problem.
Mm, yes, definitely. And so let's talk about practical realities and the beginnings. For someone with a full time job and suburban backyard, what is the most impactful gateway skills or projects composing a small vegetable bed, preserving food that deliver the essence of homesteading mindset?
Well, look, I mean, the most important thing that any skill that any homesteader can have is to try to make your food from food.
Oh,
So you
yes.
want to grow things that you're going to eat. Like I always suggest to people, I'm like, make a pasta sauce garden, make a salsa garden. Like make a garden that's designed to create something. Um, and then you'll have all the ingredients for it. So if you want to make pasta sauce, you'll grow oregano, you'll grow onions, you'll grow garlic, you'll grow maybe some thyme, a little bit of basil, and then you grow tomatoes, and that has everything you need to make tomato sauce. So if you grow your garden that way with recipes in mind, it makes it a lot more practical because you're not just using space. You're not just like, oh, I'm going to grow a bunch of I don't know, leeks. Am I going to eat leeks? Probably not. Am I going to eat pasta sauce? You bet.
You bet. Yes, definitely. And Mr. Matthew, land is the biggest barrier to entry. What a practical advice do you have for someone with limited capital to access to land, whether through urban homesteading, leasing, and creative community partnership?
So I think it's definitely one of the hardest things to kick down the door on. People can't get land, but in a lot of cases, if you just want to start learning how to homestead, you can start by gardening. And we almost all of us know somebody who does own a house or has a house they rent that they can work in the backyard. Just because you don't have a house with a backyard that can have a garden doesn't mean somebody else doesn't. And if you can convince them to let them grow in theirs, maybe they'll share the work with you. Maybe they'll share the food with you. Maybe they'll share some fellowship with you. So it's a great way to get together with people. Like you have parents, share a garden with your parents. Share a garden with your siblings. Share a garden with your friends. Share the work, share the labor, share the rewards, and share them together. There's nothing that brings a community tighter, I think, than sitting down for a meal, especially one that you planted and grew with your own two hands.
Yes. Share, people, share, and wow, do something to create unity. Homesteading involves a contrast cycle of planning, labor, and adaptation to weather, pass, and chance. How do you manage the psychological weight of this responsibility and avoid burnout?
Oh, I don't. I'm burnt out all the time. Just
Mhm.
just perpetually. No, I mean it's a lot of work on a homestead. It's taken me years, but it's all about automating processes. The more stuff you automate, the less work you have to do. So you learn to create automated chicken waterers and feeders, and you just learn to do things that cut down your workload.
Interesting, Mr. Matthew. And failure is a constant teacher on homestead. A crop fails, an animal gets sick. Can you share specific failure that become your most valuable lesson in resilience and observation?
I'm trying to think of a specific failure of mine. All I know is that I love failure. I love failure. It's one of my favorite things to do. If I
Yes.
fail, I know that I'm that much closer to a more meaningful success. Because I usually try something, I have a pretty good idea what I'm doing. So if I failed, there's a real learning experience there. And I
Yes.
generally don't go into things already knowing what I'm doing. I just don't have that
Mm,
luxury. If I hired a
yes.
trade person to fix everything that broke around here, I'd be paying hundreds of thousands of dollars. So I got to dig my deep self out and like get to work and get my hands dirty and just figure it out.
Yes. Try and try until you succeed, people.
Yeah, you can't fail until you
And
fail to try.
yes, you will learn from from your mistakes as well as your failure. Learn them, so don't be afraid. Skill, sustainability, and scale. In your experience, what's the single most empowering skill a new homesteader should learn first? Is it a soil management, basic animal husbandry, food preservation, or something else entirely?
Patience. They should learn
Hmm.
patience. Everything takes time. Everything is slow. Nothing goes as quickly as you want it to, and that's part of the point. We're in such a society. We're in such a rush all the time, just in a big hurry to get everywhere and do everything and accomplish our tasks. And part of homesteading is taking the time to be present in the moment. To be where your feet are and to experience that moment and enjoy it. And so I think it's a big part of what the skills that new homesteaders need. They need to be patient. They need to learn patience. They need to learn that you don't have to rush to the finish line. That's not the goal. The goal is the journey, not the destination.
Yes, patience is virtue, people. So have patience in everything. Sustainability is a key word. How do you personally define it in your homestead? Is it a closed loop system, carbon neutrality, or simply drastic reduction in your dependence on a fragile external supply chains?
Well, it's definitely a closed loop system. Closed loop systems are the optimal thing to gain. So I'm very big on closed loop systems and trying to build them wherever I can. One of the easiest examples of a closed loop system is um, your compost pile. So I take my chicken bedding and my chicken manure out. I mix it with grass clippings from the fields, and I compost it. It turns into this amazing soil that brings tons of organic matter to my gardens. And then the gardens grow tons of food, and the food scraps go to the chickens, and the chickens make more bedding and waste, and that turns into more compost, and that turns into more food. And it's a wonderful, wonderful closed loop system. And so the more of those that you can create, the better off you are. There's tons of those. There's you can do them with things like honeybees and things like that. So it's all about finding ways that nature works together.
Finding ways indeed. And Mr. Matthew, there's a debate between heirloom purism and pragmatic modern solutions like using tractor or commercial feed. Where do you fall onto the spectrum of traditional versus modern tools, and what is your guiding principle?
I mean, I don't have anything against modern tools. I think they're just fine. I think it's how we use things and how we put things to use. Um, so, I mean, modern practices can be just fine. It just depends on what you're doing. I don't like chemical fertilizers. I don't like chemical pesticides. I think there's a lot more natural ways to do things. So, I think when you talk about modernization of agriculture, you're really talking about the Green Revolution. And when the Green Revolution came on, they tried to add technology and use technology and science to increase the yields of all kinds of crops. And it did great things. I mean, it was great. But then the crops we focused on weren't the most nutritious and they weren't the best for you. We weren't creating them to eat. We were creating them to create ultra processed foods. So they were just components of other food. So we lost something in all of that. That's the technology you want to miss. But growing your own food organically in your own garden, even if you use modern tools, if you use a tiller or something, I personally don't think tilling is wise. It messes the microbes up in the soil. I don't think you should do it, but some people still do it. I'm not going to tell people what to do in their garden. You do what you want to do in your garden. Grow your food your way. I don't do it, but I have no problem with people who do.
Yes, definitely. Animal husbandry introduces complex ethical questions about life, death, and use. How do you navigate the emotional reality of raising animals for food, fiber, or work? And how do you teach this to children?
It's a pretty good question. So, having livestock means you're going to have dead stock, and that sounds cold, but it's not. I take my job. If I want to teach my children something, I'm trying to teach them about animal husbandry. I'm trying to teach them that our job, primarily and ahead of all other things, is to be a steward for the animals. So, it's very much our responsibility by keeping them on this farm. We have to give them a good life. We're responsible for the life we give them. And so, if we can't give them a good life, then we shouldn't have animals in the first place. You always have to do your best. And I think if you teach that and everything else comes from that, then you're coming from a good place because your care and your love has to be for the animal first and foremost.
Yes, indeed. And community economics and modern integration. It's true self sufficiency, even a reasonable goal, or is it a better model community sufficiency where homesteads specialize and trade? How do you see the role of the modern homestead in the wider local economy?
Well, definitely community self sufficiency is the more achievable option. So nowadays, really, if you want to homestead and get 20 acres, it's pretty hard. But most people can what I call small stead, and that's just a homestead in your backyard. Try to get as many natural foods, and you can still buy foods from other people. You don't have to grow it all yourself. You can go to farmers markets. You can get natural foods. You can go directly to ranches and get sides of beef. You can get the things you need without going to the grocery store and buying something with an ingredient list 2 miles long.
Yes. And how do you bridge the potential cultural values gap with the homesteading neighbors or a family who may not understand the lifestyle choices you've made?
I honestly, it's not really that much of a problem. I mean, for the most part, people think I'm a little crazy when they find out I'm a homesteader. They also think I'm a little crazy when they find out I'm on social media, and then they find out I have 1.8 million followers, and all of a sudden they don't think it's that crazy. So I think crazy is pretty subjective. I mean, when I first tell people I'm a content creator, they look at me like I'm a grown man running a lemonade stand down at the end of my driveway. And I mean, it's a lot more work than that. It's a lot more intensive. But homesteading is the same thing. You tell people you're a homesteader, and they immediately get this image in their mind of like, oh, well, he probably has a bunker under his house or something.
Well, congratulations, Mr. Matthew, because you are advocating homesteading to the world. And technology plays in a huge role. Are the indispensable modern technologies that actually enhance your self-reliant goals rather than detract from them?
I'll tell you, Wi-Fi and automated waterers, and so for my crops, having automated irrigation, it's game changing. It'll account for the rain, it'll account for the weather, it'll let me know if there's freezes. I have weather measurers all over the place and air quality index testers, and I can do soil tests right on my own property. Technology is fantastic if you use it right. There's so much stuff that can make my life so much easier. Just speed things right up.
The human spirit and the future. How has a daily immersion in the cycles of birth, growth, decay, and death on the homestead changed your perspective on your own life and mortality?
I don't know that it's changed my perspective on mortality. I do think that I'm more interested in spending my life living my life. I'm just more interested in being present in my life and not trying to achieve some unattainable goal of success or power or money. Um, I found I'm more content with what I have. It seems to mean more to me.
Yes, definitely. And Mr. Matthew, for many, homesteading is deeply tied to preparedness for uncertainty. How do you approach preparedness without tipping into fear based or isolationist thinking?
Well, I mean, so I don't even call it preparedness. It's just that when your garden bounty comes full, you have to harvest it and then you have to preserve it, and you're preserving for a year. So you could say I'm prepping. I could just say I'm just preserving vegetables. And so yeah, I have a lot of food prepared and stored away, and it's going to stay good for a long time. That's because I don't want to waste my hard work. The idea of that is to build that up. I have a freeze dryer for stuff I want to keep good for as long as 25 years. I can can stuff to keep good for 5, 10, or even 15 years. So it just depends on what I'm working with when I'm trying to preserve the method that I'm going to use it. But it's not really about fear. It's just about, I produced this. I made it with my own two hands. I know what's in it. I know where it came from, and I can guarantee that every part of this is clean and free of chemicals.
Yes, definitely. So, Mr. Matthew, what are your short term and long term goals?
Short-term goals is just always to put out more content. Always trying to put out more content about homesteading and expand the reach of the lifestyle to more people. But my long-term goals, I want to build my charity into a national organization. I want to feed people nationwide. It's really the driving force behind what I do.
Yes, and again, thank you so much for sharing your advocacy to the world. And what would be your piece of advice for those people out there who want to be like you?
For a content creator like me,
Yes, please, as well as a
sure.
homesteader.
Yeah, I mean, so my best advice would just be yourself, be the weird, be the strange, be the cringe, be whatever you are. Life's too short to be fake, so just be authentic. Be honest to yourself and everybody else, and you'll do well on social media if you are. Um, People know a trick, they know a scam, they've seen the trends. They don't really look for that stuff, so they're looking for people that are authentic. Be authentic, and the world will find you interesting. I think I will.
Yes, Definitely. Yes, indeed. So, good luck to your goals and looking forward for more success as well as your advice. Thank you so much. And can you please recommend a book or books that influence your journey?
Yeah, absolutely. In Defense of Food, it's The Eater's Manifesto by Michael Pollan. This is an amazing book right here. This is all about how the industrialization of the food system led to something that Pollan calls nutritionism, which is where we believe that by breaking down food into its parts, we can create a more nutritious alternative. But the truth is that for all our low fat foods and ultra processed foods we've had that are these superfoods with healthy, balanced diets, and we followed all the directives, we've still gotten more obese as a society. So obviously, what we've been told is wrong, and what we should do is we should go back to natural foods. So if you're eating something, there shouldn't be any poly, sorba, gluta, blah 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 in there. If you have steak and potatoes, the two ingredients should be steak and potatoes. Maybe some pepper, maybe some butter, but just eat real food. And if you eat real food, your body really knows how to process it. You know, if we eat fake food, our body doesn't know what to do with it. We lose nutrients, we lose flavor, we lose quality, we lose all kinds of stuff, including our body's ability to break down and process those foods. So, yeah, great book. Great book.
Yes, thank you for that recommended book. Mr. Matthew, and before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people. My other podcast, because my abstract essay is already in fifth season, abstract poetry in second season, and my book 101 review in fifth season too, comedy 101 in second season, and my food 101 in sixth season as well. Geography 101, love letters, movie 101 review, music 101 are on fifth, fourth season, science 101, sex 101 in its second season, and of course my baby podcast Mental Health 101, Law 101, Bible Verses 101, Entrepreneurship 101. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So, Mr. Matthew, looking forward, what is the most important role you see Homesteader playing in shaping more resilient, ethical, and being true to yourself?
I just think that we're going to have an effect on the food movement. I think that things like sustainable practices like AMP grazing, which is adaptive multi-paddock grazing, and things are going to change from the feedlot cattle industry over to a new, more sustainable model. And that if we can do that, that we're going to change the way that we make food and the way that we eat food and the way that we look at the world. It's all about permaculture, man. It's all about how stuff pairs up together. So
Yes, and thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world, Mr. Matthew. Thank you. So, can you please invite our listeners to support your advocacy, your projects, your content, or whatever projects that you're doing right now?
well, you can find me anywhere at Greenhorn Grove on all social media. You can see the website behind me there. It's Here We Grow. That's my charity. So you can go to thegrowsquad.org and go there and donate or see what we're doing. We also have thegreenhornguides.com. That's a 100% free ebook website that provides free education for people in the homesteading industry and niche. And then I guess last but not least, you can just DM me on Instagram if you really need a question, because I answer pretty much everybody who messages me.
Yes, people, let's support Mr. Matthew. Go there because if you support him, for sure, more and more empowering advocacy will rise. So, Mr. Matthew, thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure.
Body count
Have a great
people,
night.
see you soon.